Hey, I'm back continuing my reviews on the Jaws series. With Jaws, basically Jaws 4, but they call it Jaws the Revenge. Like I said, I have it on this box set. I got 2, 3, and the Revenge on here. Um, yeah, this one basically stars. It stars Lorraine Gary as Ellen Brody. She comes back and reprises her role. You have Lance Guest playing Michael Brody, who's Lance Guest. I remember him most from like the last Starfighter and playing in Halloween 2. And you have Mario Van Peebles as Jake, Karen Young as Carla Brody, and you have Michael Caine in this movie playing Hoagie. A couple other people, nobody really that's worth mentioning. Now, this movie was made in 1987. It's about 89 minutes long. It's PG-13. Director is Joseph Sargent. Now, Jaws of Revenge is pretty well known for being like one of the worst movies ever made. I think that's a little bit far in my opinion. I honestly, I can see like this movie is not good. The special effects are horrible. Um, but honestly, like a lot of the effects in this movie, I think aren't as bad as Jaws 3 in 3D. I thought the 3D one was way worse. Now there is some scenes in here, where you can see the crane, the gimbal that the shark moves on. It's pretty bad. There's really no excuse for that. Honestly, I really think that I don't know if they were being rushed during this movie or if it was just thrown out there to just be a quick buck or, I don't really know what happened. But really, this movie is not good. I'll give you that. It's not a good movie, but I would rather watch this one than Jaws 3 in 3D. Honestly, like other than the first one, the second one, I don't know if I just saw it too much as like a kid or whatever, but like I turned to Jaws the Revenge probably more than any of them except for the first one. And I don't know whether that's like just nostalgia or like I don't know. Like I just grew up watching this movie and I really just never thought it was that bad. As an adult, I can see the plot lines screwed up. They have multiple like endings to this movie. It's not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination, but the story for this movie is just ridiculous. That that a shark would pick out a person and like go after a family member or whatever. It is ridiculous, but yeah, this one's not as bad I don't think as everybody puts it out to be. You just gotta like the Jaws series. And if you like the Jaws series, then, I could see not liking this movie, but I guess it's like a guilty pleasure for me. It's just, I know it's horrible, but it's just, I don't know. I kind of enjoy it. I really don't think it's as bad as everybody thinks. It's definitely not one of the worst movies ever made. I don't agree with that observation at all. There's plenty of other movies that I can pick out that are way worse than this. If you guys watched my rant review on the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, that movie is fucking horrible. That movie compared to this is like this movie compared to that is an Emmy Award winning movie. Like seriously, honestly, I really don't think it's as bad as everybody says it is. But this one's basically the whole story revolves around Lorraine Gary, her now, Lance Guest plays Michael Brody, who's the older brother of Chief Brody, who they explain died like in between the parts of 2 and 3, I guess. They say he died of like fear of the shark or had a heart attack or whatever. That's kind of silly, but yeah. It centers around him now. The youngest son dies in the beginning of the movie. He goes out and he works for the police on the island of Amity, and he's going up in the ocean to like get a, I don't know, a log or a channel marker or something that's stuck in a buoy or whatever. And he goes to move it, and the shark comes up, attacks him, and kills him. Which I always found that scene to be kind of like, it's really weird because it's like choppy, and you really can't make out like when the shark's attacking him, like what's going on really. But you get the sense that he's, obviously being eaten. But honestly, like when I was a kid watching that, I always thought that scene was kind of like really kind of creepy. Like I don't know, maybe it's just me or whatever, but yeah, and then it centers around Lance Guest as Michael Brody. He lives on the Bahama Islands with his wife and little girl, who's played by Judith Barcy. She plays Thea. I believe this was one of her first movies. She's a little girl. I don't know if I've ever seen her in anything else, but so basically, the younger brother gets killed. The older brother goes back to Amity Island. They do the funeral and stuff there for his brother, and he takes his mom and talks her into going back to the Bahamas. Now the shark follows them back to the Bahamas, and basically, Mike Brody is he's like a marine biologist. Basically, works underwater, scuba dives. Him and his partner Jake. Basically studying underwater life. Because what else would he do? Your whole family's been attacked by sharks, so why wouldn't you want to work in the water, right? But anyways, so the shark comes. Basically after this family, for whatever reason, like I said, the story on this movie is it's stupid. It's silly, but it is what it is, and like I said, the special effects are horrible. Shark comes back, he's terrorizing his family, he's after him. You get a couple of good scenes in here with them underwater, and the shark pulls up next to him, and there's really not much else to be said about this movie. I mean, we all know it's horrible. It's not a good movie. But like I said, it's a guilty pleasure for me. I think probably the silliest thing is the story of it, about the shark picking out people to, going after this specific family. I mean, it's really a ridiculous story, but you got some decent scenes. There's one where Michael's down there and he's in this I don't know what you want to call it, like a little submarine almost. He's down there and he's doing whatever. He's looking at snails or whatever, and they're tagging him to see. They're studying him. And the shark comes down there and attacks the boat, and he swims off, and then there's like this. I don't know if it's like this boat or whatever that sank under there, and he's swimming in the boat and stuff, and you can see the shark like overhead. He's looking up, and you can see the shark like going by, and I don't know. There's just shots in the movie that I thought weren't too bad. Like I said, the way the shark dies at the end is really kind of silly. There's several versions where they hit him with the boat and he like explodes, and then there's other ones where like the boat hits him and like he just gets impaled or whatever. I don't know. The different endings are kind of silly. I don't know. Both of them really don't make any sense, But yeah, and then also the shark like growls in this one. He makes like a weird noise, which I thought was kind of silly. As far as I know, like sharks don't growl or anything, so that's kind of dumb. But like I said, definitely not a good movie. But if you're a fan of the series, I would check it out. I think it's better than Jaws 3D. That's just my own personal opinion. Like I said, this has been noted as one of the worst movies ever made, which I don't think is true. But it's not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination. But for me, it's a guilty pleasure. I kind of enjoy it. And like I said, you got Michael Caine in here who plays Hoagie, and he's an airplane pilot. and he lives on the Bahamas. And I kind of enjoyed his character. They didn't really give him much to do. He must have been looking for work or something at this time, because somebody who's famous as him, you don't know why the hell he's in this movie, but he is. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say about it other than that I don't really mind it, But yeah, I'm gonna let you go because I keep repeating myself. So yeah, that'll be concluding my review series, or my series review on the Jaws series. I really enjoyed the series as a whole. They're one of my favorite, water monster movie type series. I don't know. I just grew up watching them. Really enjoyed them my whole life, and yeah. So that's all I got to say about the Jaws series. Stay tuned for more movie reviews. Thanks.